I think in primary school I was quite keen to become a policewoman, but for some reason that just faded into the background. And then later on I was quite keen to become an air hostess for some reason, and then I found out that I exceeded the height limit for air hostesses at the time, so that fell by the wayside. My name is Silvana Marasco. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon and I'm the director of the cardiothoracic unit at the Alfred Hospital. I'm an adult cardiothoracic surgeon, so I do all operations that involve the heart, lung and chest wall. So it's quite a wide spectrum of operations. I loved everything that I did at school, so I think my ideas of what I wanted to do changed every half a year. But I did see a documentary on Fred Hollows on television, and I think that was what it inspired me to be a surgeon. There were no relatives who did medicine, so my father was an Italian who came here in the 50s with all the Italians, and you're probably aware most Italian and Greek parents want their kids to do medicine or law. So I'm the eldest child. I did medicine. My brother was next. He did law. So we were very dutiful children. We did have a family friend who was the head of plastic surgery here at the Alfred, and I did work experience with him. So that was inspiring as well, and he actually taught me how to suture when I was in year 10, although I didn't get to use it for many years, of course. I was a medical student here actually in the early 90s, and then lucky enough to become an intern here. I did my residency here. Then I got into general surgery and I was based here. During our training as a surgical resident and registrar, we're lucky enough to rotate through many different surgical specialties. And I did like plastics and general surgery, and then I did cardiothoracics, and I just knew that was what I wanted to do. And the things I loved about cardiothoracics, I loved the intricacy and the fineness of the surgery. I also loved the physiology and looking after the patients in the intensive care afterwards. And it's a lovely group of patients. You know, they're older patients, they're all a bit nervous, they're having major heart surgery, and they're just so grateful when they wake up at the other end. And I was just inspired to do cardiothoracic surgery after seeing it as a resident here at this hospital. They've been very supportive of females. When I came through the hospital as a trainee, there were quite a few general surgical females here at the Alfred. So I've felt supported the whole way. Even though we rotate out quite often for different parts of our training, when you come back it always feels like home. There's always people in the corridor who you know and you can say hello to, reacquaint yourself with. It's a very friendly hospital. I've always felt very comfortable here, and that's why I stayed here. When I first decided to do cardiothoracics, I was a resident here at the hospital doing my cardiothoracic rotation. So I went to the head of the unit and I said, I've really enjoyed my time in cardiothoracics. I think this is what I want to do. And he said, you can't possibly, you're a female. And he must have seen the look of shock on my face. And I think he was half joking. And then he quickly followed it up with, you wouldn't be strong enough to pull out the wires on a redo. Through my whole journey, I've never focused on the fact that I'm a female. I think gender in many ways is irrelevant. I'm just another person in the hospital and I just try to do my job as well as I can. I think there are aspects that are challenging. It's quite an intense job. There are long hours. Once I was married and had children, it was quite difficult with little babies at home. And there was really nothing worse than getting up to feed a baby and then finally getting to sleep and then getting a call from the hospital. So for those few years when the kids were young, that was very tiring. Having children, whether you're during your training or as an early consultant, and that's generally the timing when you're having children, it is difficult. It's difficult for everyone, I think, whether you're male or female. There's a lot of competition for your time. But I think people are more willing to accommodate different hours and accommodate those different competing elements in your life at this time. I know we have a registrar at the moment who has had a baby, and we've tried to give her extra time off and alter her roster accordingly. And although I'm sure it is very difficult, there are always people who are very supportive within the hospital. So I think leaning on your colleagues and asking for help is very important. And I think in this day and age, everyone's willing to help out.
Was there a moment where you were questioning yourself or career choice?
No, I must say I've never questioned myself. I've always felt quite confident that I've chosen the right career and that I'm doing well in that career. I don't know why I've always felt quite confident. Maybe you just pick that up as you go through school, or maybe your parents instill that in you, but I've always felt quite confident in my choices. So I don't tend to second guess myself very often. Sometimes I have second thoughts about the correct operation for the patient, and I might go and ask a colleague for advice. But in terms of deciding my career, I enjoyed it so much that I felt the whole time I was making the right decision. I think I'm incredibly lucky that I've just happened upon a specialty that I just love. I get up every morning and I'm looking forward to what's in store that day. I might have a nice simple case that I know I can train a registrar with, or I might have a more difficult case that I know will challenge me a little bit. But I'm incredibly lucky that I really enjoy my job, and I think that makes it so easy to go to work every day.